we work with are in business and in schools. After 20 years of working in resilience, we found that this is where the most concern with mental health is. Schools are in crisis, and businesses, people are feeling more disconnected than ever. And so we come in with a solution of connecting people back to what it looks like to be human and what it looks like to live again for one another. What we are doing is changing the game in mental health. And the reason why I do this is because when my son was 8 years old, he was suicidal. And my husband and I, we've been married 20 years. We are what you would call a quote-unquote normal family. And so for us to go through this with all of the knowledge that I have with mental health already and resilience, I couldn't imagine what other families might be going through as well. All of a sudden, those families were us, and it leveled the playing field. I remember my son, for his diagnosis of depression, he would throw fits of rage. Depression for my son did not show up as sadness. It showed up as anger. And there are many parents who have come out of the woodwork to tell me, I find it really hard to know how to deal with my child's anxiety. I don't know how to handle their anger. I don't know how to handle their outbursts. And this is something that we went through with our son. And he would throw things, he would damage our home. And when he was 8, we had to take him to the hospital. And I remember the psychologist asking us, so what do you do when your son is throwing these fits of rage? I said, well, I send him to his room. And I tell him, when you're going to be a good boy, that's when you can come out. She said something so powerful to us. She said, no, you never send the hurting away from you. You bring them closer. And in that moment, I remember I was so desperate just to try anything that when we got home, that's what I did. Every single time my son would have an outburst, we would sit with him in the same room. We would remove all the sharp objects and we'd say, son, you belong with us. You belong in our home. And it took a year because at first my son was thinking, you just want me to comply. You just want me to behave. But after a year, you would never guess that my son has a diagnosis of depression, anxiety, oppositional defiance disorder, and ADHD. He's now 12 years old and he's thriving. And you know what it taught me? It taught me that we're putting up with mental health issues that don't necessarily need to be there. Yes, there are diagnoses. Yes, there are real problems, but connection can solve a lot of things. And so what we do is we go into schools and we partner with schools on how can we help. We bring hope as a plan. What are your habits? Do you have a plan for opposition? Because opposition and crisis will happen. Who are the people that surround you? And do you have an empathetic culture? We go in and we change the atmosphere. We change the culture in schools and in businesses. But one thing we discovered in schools is that a lot of schools do not have finances for mental health. In fact, a lot of places don't have finances for mental health. And so one solution that we're bringing to the game is inviting businesses to partner with us to be able to go into schools and provide these solutions, to be able to work with teachers. Teachers are there to educate. That's their education. They have a mandate. They have budgeting that's all based on curriculum. They don't have time or resources to deal with the mental health crisis that students are facing. So we want to come in, we want to assist, we want to do whatever it takes to help them. But finances is a barrier. So we thought, what if businesses who care about mental health, who want wellness to be a part of our everyday lives today, what if we invited businesses to not only financially partner with us so that this is not a barrier anymore, but what if we actually invited them to come along? What if we reconnected people to their communities? Because community solves problems. Mental health is solved socially because a lot of mental illness is created socially. You're having a great day and then people happen. People highly affect us. And so if they can highly affect us for the negative, people can also come together and highly affect us for the positive. And so that's what we're inviting people into. We're inviting everyday people who care about mental health to say, we want to join your hope movement. We want to donate. We want to be a part of the solutions. And so we're inviting business owners, parents, anyone who cares about mental health to be a part of our Hope movement, to bring solutions, because enough is enough.